Welcome back to Metroid Fusion, everyone. Good to see you safe. We're heading into the Sub-Zero sector, Sector 5. Our objective is to get hold of the ice missiles. Cold weather is much more my forte than the intense heat of Sector 3. Now I admit that it can be a bit horrible, dealing with Sub-Zero conditions and blizzards and things like that, but most of the time I'm fortunate that we have pretty mild winters here. I've been talking about the weather unironically, so better get the map and rendezvous with Adam. You need to download data for the ice missile upgrade, but as you might expect, the data room here is secured. Level 3 security hatches are yellow. Release a security lock and download data as usual. And experiment with those new missiles. They will be helpful. Is your objective clear? You know what to do. Go to it. Now, worth noting that, like the ice beam, the ice missiles will take a bit longer to defeat enemies, but we'll be able to use them as platforms. No way to get through here at the moment unless we fire off a few missiles. Jump over here, and on we go. At the bottom of the shaft are 2 yellow doors. In the background here is some sort of giant containment tank. At least it appears to be anyway. There's very strong reinforced glass. The enemies in here are chutes. You will have seen them in Meridia if you've played Super Metroid. They're a possible cousin to chute leeches from Metroid 2. They will fly into the air, drop, vomit, and slowly drop to the ground. They don't move from side to side like they used to. A little more predictable, but fairly easy to defeat from a distance. Take a little time to listen to the music. Admittedly not that impressive as far as I'm concerned. There's our data room, but we will need, of course, to open those hatches. Those enemies are waivers, and those Garons up there we will not be able to blast our way through. But we will need to do a little bit of speed boosting this way. We'll be able to get through there in due time. But for now, just dash on through. And of course you can defeat enemies with the speed booster, and when you use it, the shine spark. If you want, you can still stun those Cold X with your beam weapons. That wasn't smart. But most Cold X will actively try to avoid you. If you bomb this, everything goes up, and those waivers will charge you. However, you can shoot them from down fairly easily. Now, as I've mentioned, this sort of cold weather is not the sort I have to deal with in Australia, which is why I tend to like winter a lot more. It's fairly mild, and it's pretty easy to rug up warm, or, say, play a game of soccer, go for a good walk. if we move through here, we'll be able to get towards our security room, sorry. Reminiscing about the cold, but I can understand that people wouldn't like blizzards. Now, uninfected Kagos, you can stand on top of them. Can't do anything otherwise. This needs power bombs to get through. Lots of power bomb upgrades can be found here, but now that we've got to the security room, we can actually go and grab all the missile upgrades available in this area. Which I shall proceed to do. Nothing in here at the moment. And of course those crumble under your feet. And of course be very quick to grab any free-floating parasites. Because these enemies can be annoying. Okay, not too bad. We'll take that out. Jump over here and... there we go, we're on our way out. And now we can connect back to the main area. So we want to go back towards the start of the area in order to grab a couple more missile expansions. We still can't get past that Garon, even if we do get those ice missiles. We'll need to power up much later in the game, but we are starting to get a bit stronger. We have to navigate our way through this room. And I will admit that while the music for Sector 5 is not great, it really does sort of add to the eerie feeling of the place. There's just this cold and lifeless feel to it. Like, the minimalist style actually enhances the feeling of the area. Even if it's not the greatest bit of music, and there was, I think, a piece that was composed being a bit longer. So once we defeat that, what we need to do is jump up here, drop a bomb. Wow, I'm terrible at this. There we go, and we jump up there to get our first missile tank for the area. In here we've got another one and a range of enemies. That wasn't too bad. Okay, so do we bomb this? Righto. And now comes the embarrassing part. You have got to be kidding me. Right, well, that leaves me a little shamefaced, admittedly. Let's go and get those ice missiles and not speak of that again. Tried all sorts of complex maneuvers. Do I bomb my way through? Do I use the speed booster? Missiles? the beam, and I just have to jump to it. Really makes you appreciate the X-ray visor sometimes. Or it could just make you appreciate people who are fairly competent at the game. Now, I'll admit this is one of my big weaknesses overall. Sometimes I just can't see the simple solution even if it's right in front of me. I would like to think, anyway, that I'm fairly intelligent. Not necessarily wise, but I have a lot of facts stored in my head. Wait a minute, we do need to go over this way. But yes, intelligence doesn't always equal wisdom because I can't always think of those practical solutions. And I'm more than capable of doing stupid things, I'll admit that. Anyway, let's grab our ice missiles and we can put them to good use pretty soon. Let's head on through here and see what we can do. Now, if we aim up, hit that ripper with an ice missile, we can stick the landing and go in here. And our energy tank turns out to be a fake. But we can also bomb the wall and get an energy tank. Really makes you wonder why they don't use this more often in the series. And of course there is that whole unexplained element of why the X can actually do it. I think we need to find a morph ball shaft somewhere in here. Should be down here. Oh, there we go. And then we have to kill that enemy, but not pick up the parasite. Because we need to use... better wait till it's a little closer, because we have to do some very creative use of the ice missiles. It is essentially the same tactics we can use with the ice beam. Oh dear. Alright, let's go out and go back in. Now, if you don't defeat them for a while, they will wind up... If you don't defeat certain enemies for a while with the ice missiles, they will just go back to doing what they were doing. Obviously got to get it just right on this one. Ah! Alright, let's see. There we go, got it that time. So yes, freezing an enemy with the ice missiles, like the ice beam, then letting them defrost, does mean that you will be able to freeze them again. Now there is one more pickup we can get. The reason this Kago appears is so we can get out of this room. We want to go through here. There is a Kago there. We want to defeat this enemy, let it spawn again. And there we are, we can freeze that to run across with our speed booster. This gets us a different path through the area. A nice little demonstration of just how useful those ice missiles can be, but slightly unintuitive puzzles that require you to repeatedly kill enemies and not pick up the X-parasites. Actually shows just how clever the developers of these games can be sometimes, in all fairness. There are some very creative ideas that are put into these games. And we're pretty much done with everything here in Sector 5 for now. I was hoping to have a smoother run, but unfortunately I did still make a slight hash of things. Anyway, there's one more missile we can grab, and it is on the way out. And what was that? If you're familiar with the game, you'll know what that is. But whatever's in that containment tank doesn't seem happy. So we can drop all the way down here. Defeat those enemies, and we need to get up here. We'll jump over this. Freeze it. Freeze this. And up we go. Over we go, and that actually wraps up all the missile tanks for this area. The power bombs are the most common pickup here. And that strange creature is flying around again. Well, might as well get out. And something's gone wrong. The game is going to keep hounding us about that, so let's see what Adam has to say, and we'll wrap up the episode there.
Emergency in Sector 3. Emergency in Sector 3.
Okay, we get it, game.
Emergency in Sector 3, PYR. The area could melt down soon. It seems the main boiler's cooling unit is malfunctioning. This could easily destroy the entire research station, as it would likely trigger the auto-destruct explosives. We have about 6 minutes. Hurry to Sector 3 and access the control room to the side of the main boiler room. Most of the systems in PYR are down because of this. Again, we know who to blame. The SAX must have hacked into the system control file. What impressive intelligence. Is your objective clear? There's little time. Hurry to the control room in Sector 3.
6 minutes to main boiler explosion.
Well, that wraps it up for this episode. See you next time.